Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Friday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, Taylor Sharp on the ones and twos. We are fired up, locked, and loaded on this Friday. Lots to get to over the next 2 hours. Tony Tsoukalis is in Tuscaloosa. He covers the Tide. They are coming in for an 11 o'clock tip-off tomorrow. He will preview Nate Oates' squad at 12:30. Shea Dixon at 1 o'clock. Bunch of juniors headed to Baton Rouge this weekend. Brian Kelly's first kind of junior day as head football coach here at LSU. We'll get some names to look for, potential movement that happens this weekend. Shea is all over that for 247. And Leah Vann from The Advocate covers the LSU baseball squad there, obviously in Houston. First pitch in 3 hours. She will check in from Minute Maid Park at 1:30 to set the scene as LSU and Oklahoma get set to do battle. We've obviously got that game to talk about. We got LSU Alabama hoops to talk about individually here. And we're fired up to do it. But first of all, are the rumors true? Based on your attire today, have you totally abandoned the Los Angeles Lakers and are now totally on board with the Pels flocking up?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm just showing a little love to my boy Jackson, man. I think he's been playing very well lately. And so you're seeing him, progress in his young career in the NBA. And I got to support him, man. My bo's playing well right now.
Just saying, you don't see me wearing St. Louis Cardinals jerseys in here. You don't see me coming around with an Ole Miss jersey. You look like you're changing allegiance.
No. No allegiance changing, man. Right. No allegiance change.
We shall see. Let's talk baseball. LSU in the Shriners Collegiate Classic over in Houston. Probably a number of you on the way over there right this second, locking us in. We really appreciate that. Drive safe. I will be right behind you as soon as this show ends. Excited to get in the juice box tomorrow for LSU in Texas. But first up, LSU in Oklahoma. This is a really fun weekend if you're an LSU baseball fan. I think we've picked up some things over the last 2 weeks, but you've got to put an asterisk by all of it because the teams they've played have been atrocious. Mm-hmm. That is not the case this week. It's manageable this weekend, but these are real Power 5 baseball teams that LSU will deal with, and certainly the number one team in the country tomorrow. Oklahoma has scuffled at times this year. They did beat Auburn in their season opener 3-0. Lost to Arizona the next day 14-4. Beat Michigan on that Sunday 6-1. Northwestern State clipped them last Friday in a 3-game series. They've struggled offensively, but LSU's going to see a legit arm today in Jake Bennett for Oklahoma. He is 6'6", 235-pound lefty. Last year, he was 4-3 with a 6.34 ERA. Now, here comes the impressive part when 6.34 ERA is not. He has 60 strikeouts and 13 walks in 55 innings. As Kendall Rogers told us yesterday, Bennett is a long lefty with life on the heater, up to 96 miles an hour. And I watched a little tape on him this morning. The breaking ball is pretty good as well. So this is an opportunity for LSU to go up against a Friday night guy. Is he going to go third in the draft? I don't think so. Is he a really talented left-handed pitcher who's going to be the front of the rotation guy in a power conference? He is, and this is our first look at that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be your first look at that. He's going to be probably the best pitcher LSU's seen all season. This will be a great test for them. Their bats, we know how we feel in Baton Rouge about some of the bats in this lineup. This is going to be their best test, so I know they're excited. I know Coach Johnson's talked about it, how bad they want to win every game and taking it one game at a time. This is going to be a huge step up in competition. I know a lot of people weren't so happy with some of the, the preseason games before the SEC, thinking the level of competition, wasn't what it should be. But here you go. This is going to be a great opportunity for these guys to kind of see a stepping stone and see where they really are as a team.
Bennett has faced Auburn and Northwestern State thus far this year, and the numbers are exceptional. 11 1/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs allowed, 13 strikeouts to 1 walk. So 13 strikeouts in those 11 innings. When you start to look at LSU's lineup and the way that they stack up against Bennett, obviously Trey Morgan hits from the left side, and obviously Braden Jobert hits from the left side. Those are 2 of your top 6 bats. But Jacob Berry will switch around and hit right-handed. Obviously Dylan Cruz and Cade Doty will swing it right-handed. So LSU does have the luxury of whatever side you throw it at. They've got 2 right now big bats from each side, and then Berry would add a third because he can hit from either side. So if you got a tough right-hander, Morgan left-handed, Jobert left-handed, Berry left-handed. If you got a tough left-hander, Doty right-handed, Cruz right-handed, Berry right-handed. So we'll see that LSU can match up. Of course, Jordan Thompson factors into that, and you figure that Alex Milazzo will be out there as well. But I'm excited to see how this LSU offense fares against a really tough, big, draftable left-handed pitcher. As far as Oklahoma goes on the other side of the diamond, offensively, they've been terrible this year. I don't really know other way to slice it. They've got had 9 total runs in 3 games against Northwestern State. That's very, very poor over a weekend. They haven't cracked 6 runs all year. Well, that 6 runs is a really nice output, but they haven't scored 7 in any game this year. They've only hit 3 home runs thus far through 2 weeks. Only 13 extra base hits in 7 games, so not even 2 a game on the extra base hits. And their team collectively is hitting .219. I don't like to use batting average at this point because the sample size is so small, and you can hit 4 missiles right at people and bat 0 at this point, and that will really hurt you. You can also hit 2 swinging bunts and a duck snort to right field, and you're hitting 1,000, and your sample size is so small. But in terms, they haven't broken out in a single game this year and gone nuts, and the extra base power has not been there for them. So you figure this is a good opportunity for Blake Money to go out there and prove to us that he's making steps towards being the guy that LSU needs at the front of the rotation.
Yeah, especially on a Friday night like this. You've seen this team lose to a Northwestern State program. So, on any given night, they could possibly not, fill the stat sheet up and fill the box score up with a bunch of home runs and a bunch of runs. So I think for Blake Money, showing a level of consistency he's shown all season, pounding the strikes on, being able to get to his breaking off-speed breaking balls. He's played amazing, so this is going to be a great test for him. Luckily, this team isn't on fire right now, just hitting the balls out the park, so this will be a great, I think, show for Blake to really show where he's at this season.
This is something I talk to you about all the time because you're a guy who, obviously is the best player on the field in high school, and then you go up to the NCAA, and everybody that's got that kind of ability and gets a scholarship and has a spot on a team, specifically as a starter, has to have some inner belief of, like, I'm that dude, I'm going to make the plays. But I do think that doing it instills even more confidence. And I don't know Blake Money personally. I like the cowboy hat. I like the swagger, and I like the way he's thrown the ball in this game. But I think there still has to be some sort of lingering, I don't know if doubt's the right word, but just like, okay, it's Maine, it's Towson. Like, yeah, I should get these guys out. This looks a little bit different. It's in a big league ballpark. It's against an Oklahoma team that's got a pretty good baseball program. Yeah, the numbers aren't eye-popping, but I think if he could go out there in this game and give 6 innings, 7 innings, and strike some guys out and limit the damage to a run or two, that, to me, is the first time in this role would instill even more confidence. Yeah,
we talked about going into the season, especially based off what we saw last year. Nothing was proven or locked in for Blake. He had to go out there and earn it. He's done that at an extremely high level thus far, and this will be his biggest test. So if he can continue to play remotely close to what he's been doing, I think that'd be a great sign for this team because now you got a Friday night guy that you can depend on and you can trust on, and doing it in a big-time situation like this, I think it will give the team a world of confidence.
Hopefully good contingent of LSU fans making the trip over from Louisiana or just in Houston because we got quite a crew of alumni over there in Houston. So 3 o'clock first pitch, as we mentioned, we will talk with Leah Van from the Juice Box at 1:30. I do want to take a peek towards Saturday and talk about Texas. We talked with Kendall Rogers yesterday. We fully expect that Tristan Stevens will get the ball for the Longhorns. I did some research into Tristan Stevens today, and, of course, everything that Kendall said checks out. This is a guy who's not a huge draftable prospect. He's 6'2". I believe this is his 6th year in college because of COVID and injury. So last year, as a full-time starter for the first time in the rotation, 11-3, very good. 3.31 ERA, very good. 77 strikeouts in 111 innings. And that's, as Kendall said, he's just not a huge arm. And I watched some tape on him. It's not an eye-popping fastball. The breaking ball's fine. He does throw a lot of change-ups. But this is not going to be a guy who's just going to blow you away. This year in 12 innings, he's given up 8 hits and no runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts again in those 12 innings. The best outing he had of the 2 is against Alabama, and that's a team who hasn't hit a ton this year, Bama. But 6 innings against Bama last week, 2 weeks ago. 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs allowed, 4 strikeouts, 0 walks. That's the kind of guy you're getting. It's stuff-wise, there's a lot of Jared Poche for the LSU fans from the right side. It's not draftable. It's not, radar gun popping. He just knows how to pitch, works deep into games, doesn't walk anybody, and induces enough weak contact to get through things. I would like for LSU to show this offense for what it is and to be just relentless 1 through 9. And against a guy who's probably not going to strike a lot of guys out, you would think that LSU would hit the ball hard a lot, but he's been – for his career, has not given up a lot of hard contact. So, again, an interesting matchup. Yeah,
definitely an interesting matchup. I think the reverse goes in this situation. I think especially for this Texas team, this is going to be the most powerful lineup they've seen all season, especially from a batting perspective. When you go through 1 through 6, especially the way guys are swinging the bat right now, they're making it tough. So if you're pitching fastballs in the zone, those guys are trying to laser those things. And I think for any pitcher, I'm excited to see what they do against this lineup. We've seen this lineup score a ton of runs, and not against the most, dominant opponents you would think, but this will be a great opportunity to see if this team is really what we think they are from a batting perspective.
And this is something we touched on yesterday, but if you weren't tuning in or just caught us today, the best bat in Texas lineup, and I only give this to you because the nickname's so good, Ivan Menendez is the guy you've got to watch. Last year he led Texas at .319 batting average and 13 home runs. He is a large human, and the nickname is sensational, the Hispanic Titanic. And this is a guy you've got to keep in the yard. In the juice box. We figured Mikhail Hilliard would be out there. This is not a Texas team that has hit a ton this year, but they've certainly scored enough to win every game they have played. Alabama held them in check for over a 3-game weekend. You hope that LSU can do that on Saturday, and we'll start with Mikhail Hilliard. And Mikhail's been in this spot a lot of times. He was in a super regional situation last year. I've mentioned many times as a freshman, he went to Auburn. LSU really needed to win that series. He went out there against Casey Mize, who was the #1 pick in the draft, and won that game against Auburn. It's not going to be 8 shutout innings, but if Mikhail Hilliard can go 5 and allow 1 run, I think Jay Johnson would be thrilled with that, and that's got to kind of be the mindset. If you're an LSU fan watching Mikhail, I'm sure he goes out there thinking he's going to throw a complete game shutout. But you just got to throw strikes, get some weak contact with that breaking ball, and work deep into the game and let your bullpen take over from that point.
Yeah, we know Mikhail's not going to blow you away with his fastball. It's not going to ever touch anything over 90. But with that being said, his stuff has a lot of movement to it. And I think if he can really throw strikes and be aggressive, get ahead in the count, and really get to that off-speed pitch when he's up in the count, I think he can be a dangerous guy. So I'm excited for him. I know he definitely won over a lot of Tiger fans last season. I kind of want to see him continue that into this season, and this will be a great test for him as well. I think so too.
Leah Vann has the information on how to watch this. We will talk to her at 1:30. It's going to be difficult for Louisiana people to watch this, quite frankly. The report was, the MLB Network is carrying it. Yes, they are. They're blacking it out in Louisiana. So if you're in Louisiana, you have MLB Network, and that was your plan, that ain't it. There's a YouTube option. There's the option through the Astros, some streaming situations. I'll get Leah to explain that a little bit more in the second hour. But if your plan was to watch it via MLB Network, you can scrap that. They're blacking it out in Louisiana. They would like you to drive to Texas and spend the cash with them there to watch the game in person as opposed to watching it on MLB Network. So that's a quick look at LSU's first 2 games. Of course, LSU and Baylor Sunday night at 7 o'clock. It'll be another late one. I'm not going to stick around for that one. I got to be at work on Monday, so I'm just going over there to watch LSU in Texas on Saturday night, play a little round of golf on Saturday morning, eat some fajitas for pregame. Looking very much forward to that as well. So there's your little setup for LSU baseball. Leah Vann again at 1:30. Tony Tsoukalas with us in 15 minutes from right now talking LSU and Bama. We will talk LSU and Bama coming up next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Covington, Masvidal, the rivalry will be renewed Saturday night in the FanDuel Sportsbook and making things even more exciting by offering new customers 30-1 odds on either fighter. That's right, you can win $150 on a $5 bet. Just sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook using promo code 1045 ESPN, pick your fighter, and get ready to win big.
You would have to bet over $200 on Covington to win $100 if you were just playing traditionally by the odds. With this bet, you can place a $5 bet on Covington and win $150. Seems like a pretty good deal to me. Of course, Covington is the favorite. You know some things about MMA. Who's going to win that fight?
I like Covington, man. I'm thinking about that 30-1 odds.
So sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook using the promo code 1045 ESPN. Pick your fighter. Get ready to win big. You don't want to miss your chance to cash in on one of the biggest fights of the year. And fights are always more fun to watch with a little bit of lettuce on the line. And they're only asking you to lay $5. I think most people can afford that to win $150. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. New Year's is only. $10 first deposit is required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $280. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Roscoe and Hannagriff Monday for Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers. We're at the all-new Spoken Hub restaurant on Government Street in Mid-City. Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Senior Day for LSU tomorrow, 11 a.m. tip in the PMAC. Of course, Darius Days, Xavier Pinson, among those to be honored. It's a big one for LSU. Big opportunity against Alabama, trying to finish in conference play 9-9 and continue to hold steady in that seeding range before you go to Tampa and try to work your way up a spot or two. This has not been a very good matchup in the Will Wade, Nate Oates era. Alabama has won 5 straight against LSU. They have won 10 of 13 against LSU. Bama has won 4 of the last 6 in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center against this LSU team. Of course, remember last year they came into the PMAC and put on a display that I will not soon forget. It was something else to watch. In the first meeting between these two teams, I was pretty salty after that game ended because LSU got what they needed from Alabama. Alabama was 0 for 15 from the three-point line in the second half. Gaines and Murray hit some huge shots late in that game. LSU for the game was 10 of 22 from the three-point line. Tari Eason had 26 points, but just an early flurry in the second half was too much for LSU, and the late comeback just came a touch short, and they weren't able to finish it. Alabama wins the game by 3. At Alabama this year, and we know about Nate Oates' offensive system and what he values, the defense has been the issue. And some of these point totals are a little bit staggering when you consider who they're against. They just lost a game to Texas A&M at home where they gave up 87 points. Kentucky and Rupp, no Ty Washington, no Xavier Wheeler, scored 90 on Alabama. Auburn hung 100 on them in that game. Georgia, the worst offense in the league, scored 82 on them, and they went up to Columbia, Missouri about 6 or 8 weeks ago and gave up 92 points. We just saw Missouri last weekend. They were awful. That's the issue for this Alabama team. Yes, sometimes they're white hot from three and sometimes they're not. You can't stop anybody. Sometimes it doesn't matter. They got hot against Kentucky from three, give up 90 points. It's tough sledding. That's where LSU's got to take advantage of this team.
Yeah, I see this as another prime situation for LSU to do exactly what they did at Bud Walton and pound the offensive glass. Obviously, a lot of guys haven't been really shooting the ball well from the outside, but you've seen Tari Eason and Darius Days really do a phenomenal job of getting offensive rebounds and getting second chance opportunities. And Alabama is a team that will definitely be prime suspects because they're running out trying to get threes on the fast break. So I think for this game, you got to take care of the basketball. I think they did a great job of that in their last game for a long stretch in the second half there. They didn't have a turnover at all. So continue those things and try not to have any more 30-foot fouls. I don't know if I can take that anymore. We gotta fix that right there. And I think you can have an opportunity to win this basketball game.
So from the metrics standpoint for Alabama, defensive efficiency, they're 233rd in the country. On allowing opponents to get offensive rebounds, so their defensive rebounding percentage, 313th in the country. They do a very, very poor job getting on the defensive glass. LSU was great at that in Bud Walton. They need to continue to crash the glass hard because their first shot field goal percentage is not very good, but you start getting trash buckets around the rim. That's where LSU can thrive. This Alabama team is very good on the offensive glass. They're 13th in the country in offensive rebounding percentage. There's a real reason for that. It's because they shoot a ton of threes, which create long rebounds. When you get long rebounds, the defense gets out of whack. The offensive rebound can happen, and then you can hit somebody for another shot at a three, and that's what Alabama does really well. They're 40th in the country in offensive efficiency. They are 7th in the nation in threes attempted. We know this. They want to put up a ton of shots. From a personnel standpoint, it starts with their guards, all four of them. Javon Quinterly, the point guard, 13.5 points per game, 4.5 assists per game. He is not shooting great from three, just 26%, but 9 of 14 in the last 3 games. So he shot it great over the last week and a half. Shackelford's the guy you got to watch.
Yeah, he's a real deal. He's a 3-level scorer, in my opinion. He's a guy that has that soft touch around the basket. When he can't get fully to the rim, he'll shoot a little floater right over your top. It's very annoying to stop, but he has great feel for the game. He gets to the free throw line, and he's not afraid to shoot the three, too. He will pull up from just about anywhere. He does not have a conscience, especially if he sees a couple fall down. You got to keep your eyes on him because last time he played LSU, he had a phenomenal game, and he kind of slowed some other guys down, but, Shackelford got going, so you got to keep your eyes on him.
I learned something about Jaden Shackelford today. He's been their lead guy for 2 years now, but I didn't realize this. He is right-handed in everything he does except shooting a basketball. I don't know how that happens, but that's the situation, and he shoots it a lot. He is 10th in the country in threes attempted. He leads the SEC in minutes played, made threes, and threes attempted. He will put them up from everywhere, 17 points per game. Keon Ellis is a great, great role player for them. 6'6" senior wing. He got white hot against Kentucky. I think he went 6 of 6 from three early in that game. He's a 33% shooter, but he went nuts against Kentucky. He's a huge steals guy. He is one of the guys who does play defense. I noticed this on Quinterly earlier. Javon Quinterly is their point guard. You would think he's guarding the point guard. He's guarding the ball a lot. He has 8 steals in 17 league games. That's not even one every 2 games. You would think he would just luck into that. I mean, but that's the situation. They just don't play great defense. And Keon Ellis is also the best free throw shooter in the Southeastern Conference, so you can't put him on the line very often. Please stop putting these guys on the line a bunch. J.D. Davison, you see him with the big blonde fro, 25% from three, does dish out 3.5 assists per game. Very good ball handler, plays really fast. He will turn it over. And that's something LSU has got to pay attention to. Charles Bediako is the big down there, 7-foot freshman, 7 points and 4.5 rebounds. He is only down because they just won't let him shoot 12-footers. That's not in the arsenal. So Charles Bediako only shoots dunks and layups, and that's why he's shooting 67% from the floor for the season. He's a good athlete. He's long. He's rangy, but he's not a guy that they're going to feature down on the post with some jump hooks and stuff. He's down there to get layups, alley-oops, trash. He can run the floor in transition as well. But I think the key is, and LSU's done a good job with Kellen Grady and with Kobe Brown, and then, of course, with J.D. Note on Wednesday, of kind of keeping the leading scorer a little bit quieter, and that'll be Shackelford. But it's just a question of, can you do that again? And then are Quinterly or Keon Ellis or J.D. Davison going to get rolling? you got to pick your poison to an extent because shots are going to fly. I mean, there's just no way to smother this Alabama team. It's just a matter of can you get a quiet half like an 0-for-15 like they got last time.
Yeah, it's a pick your poison type of deal with Coach Wade. I believe last time they did put all the attention towards J.D. Note. You saw Arkansas make some adjustments, little dump passes to the big, let the big be 3-on-2. So there's simple things that he can do. But I think for this Alabama team that they can hit you in so many different ways. You put too much attention towards Quinley, now Shackelford gets going. Then you put too much attention on Shackelford. Then now Davidson's going to the basket, getting easy dunks and easy looks. And Ellis, he's our best free throw shooter, and to me, he's the most consistent shooter from the outside to me. So they're tough, man. Yeah, I think you really got to play them straight up as possible. One of them get going, then maybe you can start double teaming. But I wouldn't overreact too much because then guys start getting really easy looks at the basket.
Yeah, it's one of those deals. It's why Alabama's as good as they are. They put a lot of pressure on you in the 3-point line, so you've got to contest all the time. You've got to get a hand up. You got to close out really hard because they're going to shoot. And then they'll pump it and they'll drive it, and they're very comfortable driving and trying to get to the bucket. So, they've had their issues. They've been as Jekyll and Hyde as anybody in basketball. The only team in the country with 4 top 10 wins. They've also lost to Iona, Davidson, Missouri, Georgia, and Texas A&M. So you just don't know what you're going to get from this team. You got to hope they come out and don't hit a bunch of shots. What you have to prepare yourself for mentally is that there's going to be a moment where they make 3 or 4, 2 or 3 in a row. That's just what's going to happen. They shoot so many of them. Inevitably, there's going to be a little run where they make 3 in a row. You just got to reset, sit down in your stance, and play defense the next time. And LSU's got to find a way to keep up on the offensive end of the floor. And that starts mostly with Xavier Pinson. But one guy that I'd like to kind of get it out of neutral and see some shots go in and be a little bit more of a threat on offense because I thought he really could is Brandon Murray. Mm-hmm. And he's been a little bit MIA the last couple of games. That needs to change because we've seen Xavier Pinson in his college career as a high-volume shooter and scorer, and it doesn't go very well. We know Gaines, that's not his game. So from a backcourt perspective, if somebody's going to step up and make 3 or 4 threes or give you 21 points on a fairly efficient scoring day, it's got to be Murray to me.
Yeah, he definitely has been that guy, especially when Xavier was out of the lineup early in the season. You saw him have some 18-point performances. You saw him almost get to 20 points. So we know it's in him. He had some great looks, I think, at Bud Walton. Some just ran right out of there. Just they didn't want to fall for him for whatever reason. But he needs to continue to stay aggressive. I think if you can get some scoring from him, maybe not 18, but if you can get 12 from him, I think it takes a lot of pressure off of Xavier. He's not as aggressive, and he's going to be put in positions to get some of those phantom offensive foul calls we've been seeing. So got to take a little pressure off of Xavier, and I think that'll help Brandon Murray get some confidence going.
If Tari Eason fouls out of this game in less than 25 minutes of play, I may not survive Monday's show. I may not survive the weekend.
Oh, man, yeah, we got to fix that.
It just doesn't seem that hard to me. Mm-hmm. Like the last foul he got is understandable. Those happen in a game. The ball's on the floor. People are reaching, trying to get it. People are bumping into each other. That happens. You have to leave some margin for that by not reaching 35 feet from the basket or making some foolish frustration foul after you miss a shot. Hopefully the charges will work themselves out because everybody's got to realize how stupid these calls are. But he just needs to give himself a little more margin for error without the 2 dumb fouls that create the issue where you have 3 legitimate fouls and now you're out of the game.
Yeah, I think for this team, just understanding pressure and aggressiveness compared to stupid fouls. And I think a lot of times they don't know where the line is with that. You can play really great defense without fouling, keeping your hands out of the cookie jar. I think a lot of these guys are doing that. And teams are knowing it, and they're noticing it, and they're trying to put these guys in positions so where the ref's going to see it, and any ticky-tack thing, the whistle's going to get blown pretty quick. So we got to stop doing it. You're just giving teams easy free throws time and time again. I feel like I've been watching it on Groundhog's Day with this team sometimes. It's like, okay, they're in the bonus again. Yep, that's just what they're going to be. They're going to be in the bonus. So we got to calm down with that a little bit, especially at home, and try to really, finish the season on a strong note.
How do you beat Gonzaga and Baylor and lose to Georgia? I don't have the answers. Tony Tsoukalis might. He covers Alabama for Bama Central. He's coming up next on Hunt and Hill.
Holding down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with $2,750 off MSRP. Shop our inventory or let us custom order your next vehicle with up to $2,000 bonus cash, our 1,000,000-mile warranty, and more. Shop BayouCDJR.com or visit us off I-10 in La Plaza. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front to Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Mondays off the bench. We recap a huge weekend of sports. Did the LSU basketball team manage to beat Bama? How did baseball fare at the Shriners Classic? Softball played 5 games. Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Out in the open field here on a Friday. Tomorrow, senior day inside the PMAC. LSU and Alabama, 11 o'clock tip-off. Nate Oates tied coming in. The 1-game lead over LSU, playing for the 5 seed in the SEC tournament. Tony Tsoukalos covers those Alabama Crimson Tide for Bama Central. He joins us now. Tony, thanks for some time. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you guys?
Doing well. All right, explain this one for me. You can beat Gonzaga, Baylor. You can lose to Georgia. What's been the issue with consistency with Nate Oates' team?
Yeah, and Missouri.
Yeah.
So, I don't get it. They're consistently inconsistent, is the best way I can put it. Just when you think this team is going to, turn the corner maybe and figure everything out, and you start talking about the leadership getting better, it's just they go right back to probably their worst game of the season, or at least worst game in a while at home against Texas A&M, their final home game of the season. It's just you just can't count on this team. It can beat all those big teams. It can also lose to literally any team you line up in front of it. So it's just moving forward, it has more to do with Alabama basketball than it does with any of its opponents. And it's like what team shows up, and you just flip a coin. You know what I'm saying? Because there's really no way to tell which Alabama basketball team is going to show up.
Is there a common thread between either beating Baylor and Houston and Gonzaga or losing to Georgia or A&M or Missouri? Is there something that you can point to and said, yeah, when they do that, they're really good, or when they do that, they lose?
I mean, when they shoot, when they get hot from three, obviously they do a lot better. And, Nate Oates will be the first one to tell you that, those shooting opportunities and just the offensive success has to do with playing good defense. And they're a big believer that hustle and kind of the contribution on the defensive side of the ball translates over and puts you in either a position to shake off a shooting slump or just to kind of capitalize on the momentum of the game. Look, that's how they beat Gonzaga. They're going to need to do that more often, but they're also going to need to, just play better defense. I mean, against Texas A&M, it was a complete joke. That Texas A&M team shouldn't have been able to blow them out in the second half the way it did, and a lot of that's just bad defense. So whether it be down low, whether it be containing the guard, I think it's just you've got the people on the team that can play defense, but will they show up?
Tari Eason was 9 for 13 from the field last time LSU tangled with the Tigers. How do you think Alabama tries to slow him down in tomorrow's game?
Yeah, did you say Tari Eason?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's and he's a big, right? And that's you look at what Texas A&M was able to do against Alabama, and yeah, sure, their guards went off, but you also had Henry Coleman get 18 points and 11 rebounds. And I think when you look at Eason, what did he have last time against Alabama?
26.
26 and 10. I mean, so I think, if you're able to get, maybe Charles Bediako in foul trouble, which is something that teams have been able to do, I think that's how you would exploit Alabama again, is just try to beat him down low with Eason. It almost worked for LSU last time. I think that's definitely the formula. He shot, 69? Yeah, 9 of 13 against Alabama last time. So, yeah, I think they have the right formula. That game was in Tuscaloosa. This one being in Baton Rouge, I think that might also be the difference. This is going to be a tough game for Alabama.
Yeah, I like when coaches every once in a while kind of show some emotion and kind of tell you exactly what they think. Will Wade certainly does that, and I get the sense Nate Oates is a little bit the same way. What's his feeling on the way this team has played in conference play?
I think he's mentioned so much time, kind of the same thing I'm talking about with the leadership, and I think it's kind of frustrating and puzzling for him because he's got the players on this team that you would think would be able to put things together, and it's just not. And I don't think Nate is going to tell you this, and he can't even think this way. But I don't think this Alabama team is going to ever figure it out this season. I think that it's a team that just, for whatever reason, can't put it all together, and it's too late in the season. Things don't, just magically snap. Or, I mean, they can, but it's so rare for things to snap this late in the season. And so I think it's probably, if you'd ask him, one of his most frustrating seasons in his coaching career, because it had so much potential on this team, and it just wasn't able to figure it out. And I think part of it, and I mention this a lot when I talk about Alabama basketball, is you had some unexpected changes. Joshua Primo going pro is something that I think when you're making the blueprint of this Alabama team, it's not something that you were counting on. He's a scorer and a shooter that would really help them this year. And then Namari Burnett, the Texas Tech transfer, was also going to be a key component this year. Losing those two guys, I think, having those two guys in the lineup would have helped a guy like J.D. Davison. It would have helped, the whole overall flow of the team. It would have, some of those nights when, some of the other shooters aren't necessarily on, you would have had those guys, and I think you would have had a more complete game. I think they would have probably obviously had a few more wins with that bunch. And I just don't know if this group of players is the right formula to have sustained success, although it is a very talented group of players. It's just, sometimes you put things all together and it doesn't, just because the ingredients are good doesn't mean that the overall meal is good. And I think that's what we're kind of finding out with this Alabama basketball team.
Remarkable similarities to what's going on in Baton Rouge. Just can't quite get it out of neutral. Had a huge injury before the season to the starting two guard who never played, and every once in a while they look pretty good, and sometimes they don't, and it's kind of evened out to about a 500 conference record, and that's what they've got. Very similarly over there in Tuscaloosa, Tony Tsoukalas, our guest here from Bama Central. What's your sense? It's almost impossible answer to give, but under what we'll see from Alabama tomorrow, do you expect an inspired effort? Do you think that there's kind of a tailspin? Is there animosity towards this LSU program? We saw the Southeastern Conference Championship game last year. Your thoughts on the energy level?
I think Alabama could actually capitalize if it is a little bit of a hostile territory. I think that might kind of spur them. They've answered back plenty of times, and we always think when they do it that, oh, maybe this is the time where they turn it around, and then they'll go and lose a home game that they're supposed to. So I think that they have actually a chance of beating LSU, and I think they could really get up for it. And if it kind of gets the juices flowing, it might actually end up helping them. Obviously, it's also going to help LSU in that case, but I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama wins on the road, even though maybe they shouldn't, and then they go and probably win the first game of the SEC tournament, and then everyone starts getting on the train again, and then second game of the SEC tournament they lay an egg. That's kind of the way this Alabama team's been. So, I think if you went on paper, I might take LSU just because it's in Baton Rouge, and the teams have been kind of inconsistently equal, and so maybe you just take the home team. But I think I might take Alabama in this one, and then expect them to kind of build that slight momentum, only to drop it, in a couple of days.
What do you think the general consensus in Tuscaloosa is with this team? Obviously, with wins over Baylor and Gonzaga, just think getting to the dance, you still think that this team's going to fall short, or you think they can possibly still get hot and try to do something special?
I think that they could probably get back to the Sweet 16, but other than that, I don't see this team putting together the three straight performances against good teams that it would require to get to the Elite Eight. Look, this team on paper, we've seen it could be a Final Four team. They've beaten three of the last year's Final Four teams, so obviously it could play with anyone in the gym. I just think that when you're looking at it from a tournament perspective, one of those games, Alabama's just going to shoot, they're going to open up the game 3 of 20 from 3 or something, and then you can't do that in the tournament. And that's just what this Alabama team has done throughout the season. So I think eventually that's just it's kind of weird because you're just, there's no real reason to say why it will happen, but I don't think this team has any bit of the consistency needed to make a huge tournament run. That being said, I think they could probably win 2 games, and then even if they were let's say they slip up in their 7th seed or something like that, I think that they could, still win 2 games. But I just, when it comes down to it, I think that a deep run is probably being too optimistic from a Crimson Tide's perspective.
He's Tony Tsoukalas at Bama Central. We appreciate some time. Have a good weekend, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. It's the same course. We get it. It's just no way to know what team's going to show up, and it's been frustrating for Nate Oates. It's been frustrating for the fan base. Very similar to what's going on here in Baton Rouge. It just can't quite get it out of neutral and get it moving up the hill. Just hasn't happened. So I think LSU needs this one tomorrow more than Alabama does, but we'll see. I get the sense it's going to be a tight game. Can't wait to see a line on it, but I get the sense it'll probably be a tight game. We'll come back and close out hour number 1. Leah Vann with us at 1:30 from Houston. Shea Dixon, 15 minutes from right now on LSU's Junior Day. That's all coming up on Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Brake Medics. You can find them at brakemedics.com where you can request that free quote and set an appointment today. $450 for both axles, and with that comes a 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. You cannot beat the cost. You cannot beat the convenience of Brake Medics when it comes to servicing your brakes. They will come to your home. They will come to your place of work. They will service your brakes. You got to take care of that car. Brake Medics can help you do it.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to brakemedics.com for your free quote today. You log into their website, put the make, year, and model of your vehicle, and whatever brake symptoms your vehicle may be dealing with at the time, they'll have all those options right there on the website for you. Put your name, email, and phone number, and BreakMedics.com will get back to you with a free quote today.
Reminder, they're open and accepting appointments on Saturdays until 6 p.m. If you got somewhere to be next week and you hear something this afternoon or this evening or Saturday morning doesn't quite sound right, Brake Medics is still an option, even though a lot of places who repair brakes call it a quits or a little bit early on Saturday. So keep that in mind. On a Saturday, if you need issues, Brake Medics can be right there. Brake Medics, we make house calls.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, look what I found! The motivation I needed to live healthy. My new favorite sport. I found my groove. I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why. Have you found yours?
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today.
On a Friday edition of Early Line, Taylor Sharp fills in for Musso, and we talk some college basketball as David Cobb of CBS Sports joins the show to give us his weekly picks. Join us from 2 to 3 p.m. right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Senior Day at the PMAC tomorrow. Darius Days will be honored. Came in that loaded class that included Naz Reid and Emmett Williams, and was a freshman on the team that won the Southeastern Conference and was really part of what was a rebuild under Will Wade. And Tremont Waters came in that first class that Will Wade kind of cobbled together, and Skylar Mays was kind of the upperclassman on that team. But I remember when Will Wade signed him, he said, look, this is the kind of four that we want. He's exactly what we want. And he really has been that throughout his LSU career. Is he the first-team all-league player? No. Has he been a huge piece to four really good teams? Yeah, he has. His freshman year, he played in every game. He scored double figures in an NCAA tournament game against Maryland, then took a bigger role his sophomore year, started 30 of the 31 games, and became a really quality offensive rebounder and a shooter from the outside. Averaged 11 points and 7 rebounds, which was top 10 in the SEC as a sophomore. As a junior last year, just missed one game, a little bit of an ankle injury, but he averaged in double figures again. Every single year, his points per game and his rebounds per game have gone up. And last year, when he scored in double figures, LSU was 19-1. So, it's great to get these 5-star guys who become All-Americans, and you've got to have those to have great teams. You've also got to have your guys who play their role on a team. And I know this year he's probably attempted more threes than people would love because LSU didn't really have any other options on the offensive side of the ball. But I think Days has been such a steady contributor now for 4 years and deserves the recognition tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, he definitely deserves the recognition. I think for me, him understanding his role for this team has been so huge, being that leader, having that leadership presence on the roster, and just going out there and giving his heart out every night. I think he's played phenomenal. Obviously, he had that decision to make if he was going to go on to the NBA, and he decided to come back, and I think he helped himself a lot, just being able to get the amount of rebounds he does. He's taking 70 more threes than the next guy on this team, but when you're still shooting 35% with the volume he's shooting, I'll take it at this point, especially when you look around on this roster and kind of see what else is out there. But he's been a phenomenal guy, and you definitely love to see him continue to go out there and play for the Tigers.
A great early season memory from this year obviously is the opener where he went nuts and made those 5 threes right out of the gate, and it was really fun to watch. Hopefully tomorrow plays with a little bit of energy to get him the ball a little bit, and I would be willing to go to the FanDuel Sportsbook if this was an option and wager that Darius Days will hoist a 3-pointer in the first 2 minutes of the game tomorrow. It's what he does generally. It's senior day. It's a big game. You got to kind of see if the stroke is there, and that's what we see more often than not. I think there's certainly a guy who's going to sit in this chair from 3 to 6 who wants LSU to shoot like 2 threes a game. And I'm probably closer to that than them hoisting 30 like they do every once in a while. But Days got to find to see if he's got that heat check going, and hopefully tomorrow on senior day he's got that rhythm. I know earlier this season LSU went to Vanderbilt and they retired Shane Foster's number, and Shane Foster famously hit like 7 threes in a row on his senior night. And I'm not expecting Days to hit 7 in a row or make 7 total, but I do think you're going to see if he can see if he's got that touch tomorrow early in the game, because it'll be a special day for him and his family.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a special day, and I would love for that to happen. If we're getting some shots from the outside, kind of giving Alabama a taste of their own medicine of what they did last season, that would be great. And I think what other guy to do it than Darius Days on senior night, and he's been phenomenal. And if he gets hot, that'd be pretty cool to see.
Another senior hadn't quite been here long, Xavier Pinson, and I'm assuming he'll be honored as well. And that's a guy that, quite frankly, has got to get it in gear in terms of scoring if LSU's going to do anything in the NCAA tournament. That doesn't mean it has to happen on Saturday, but it'd be nice to kickstart it. And he's been shooting 14% from 3 since he came back, and shooting well under 40% from the floor. It's just been a struggle. At times he's had to do everything. It feels like at Auburn it felt like he had to do everything. In Lexington it felt like he had to do everything. He's the guy who's not scared of the moment for sure and is willing to go up there and try to make plays. He just hasn't shot the ball efficiently. That's got to probably start again tomorrow. So when you look at the 2 seniors for LSU, and certainly Tari Easton's got to have his day, but the seniors have got to step up and be the guys.
Yeah, you need Xavier, and I think for him, missing that stretch and trying to find himself and getting that rhythm back, slowly get his rhythm back, slowly get his legs underneath him. I don't think he's fully there yet, because we saw him really shooting the ball a lot better before he got injured that first time. But he's really been the guy that keeps the offense flowing smoothly, and I think him being able to get to the rim when he does helps his offense out tremendous much. And we're going to need him to play big as well. It's a big senior night for both of these guys, and I'm excited to see if they can bring a high-level brand of basketball to the PMAC.
Going out to the PMAC for the 11 o'clock tip. Get there about 15 minutes early. Honor the seniors as they will receive a little jersey there on the court. Will Wade will be involved, and they get the recognition they deserve for being the heart and soul of this team thus far this year. Our Citizens Bank poll question of the day is on the baseball side of things. How many games will LSU baseball win this weekend in the Shriners Houston, Texas Classic, whatever it's called? How many games will they win? 0, 1, 2, or 3? I've got my thoughts. What are yours, Mr. Hill?
I'm going to go 2.
I think 2. I think they're going to win today. I like money against this Oklahoma lineup, and I think LSU's lineup will find a way against a really good left-hander. I do like LSU tomorrow as well. I think LSU will beat Texas in a big-time environment. I think LSU's lineup is better than Texas's. and we'll see. I'm not thrilled. I'm not overly wild with the arm they're throwing. So we'll see what happens there. I think Baylor may get LSU on Sunday night. We'll see. Just my thoughts. It's baseball. It's hard to predict. Go to at 1045 ESPN and vote in our Citizens Bank and Trust poll question of the day. Good first hour for us here on a Friday. We open things up talking LSU baseball in Houston. We talked to Bama in hoops for the next 30 minutes. Tony Tsoukalas from the Bama Beat join us at 12:30. Shea Dixon at the other side of this timeout. It's the junior day out at LSU. I'll let Shea set the scene and give you all the details on that. And Leah Van from The Advocate is going to check in from Houston at 1:30, give us a scene setter from the Juice Box, where I will be headed here pretty shortly after we get done with one more hour of radio. Making it through a Friday here. Stick with us on the other side of this timeout. It's Hunt and Hill.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
You know Miller Lite only has one more calorie, right?
And more taste. Good choice.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour 2, Hunt and Hill off and moving. Go to Houston in 30 minutes to visit with Leah Van, LSU, and Oklahoma. 2 hours from right now. It'll be Blake Money on the mound for the Tigers, and for Oklahoma, and we'll see big left-hander Jake Bennett. See if this LSU lineup can hold its own against a real arm, like we'll see here in 2 hours. But we'll shift our focus to the recruiting side of things right now. Shea Dixon, Go247, is our guest. Shea D, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're good. All right, so obviously we're trying to get acclimated to what things look like under the Jay Johnson regime in baseball because we got so familiar with what was going on with with Paul Maneri. Now you're obviously going to see how things change on the recruiting front. The new regime here on the football side with Brian Kelly. Set the scene for kind of what we can expect to go on this weekend on campus.
Yeah, it's their first junior day, so we saw them put the focus from the time they got hired to building out a staff to then in the month of January, working the transfer portal, taking double-digit guys there, signing double-digit guys there, getting a lot of them in, enrolled for the spring and part of spring ball. Obviously, that helps rebuild the roster in a big way. And then they wrapped up after the December signing period in February. We obviously know how things played out there, added a couple of guys, including Harold Perkins. And then it went dead for NCAA dead period, lasted from signing day, that Sunday before, all the way up until this past Monday. So really for a month, they've had the chance to reset. And in that time, I think they've spent it looking ahead to 2023 and beyond, obviously. But this next class is the rising senior crop of 23 guys. Will be pretty much the majority, I'd say 90% of the guys that are at the weekend, this weekend, the junior day, are guys who are going to be rising seniors and obviously guys that you start to look for in terms of getting on campus, making an impact, pushing for a commit, building out your class. And right now, Hunt, they've only got one commit. Mario Miller, he's a wide receiver from here in Louisiana. He's a really good one, top 247 player, a 4-star. But when does that number start to grow? And I don't know if it happens this weekend because, look, this is the first time all of these kids and their parents will have met the new staff and gotten to sit down with Brian Kelly. But I think there's a basketball game on campus. I bet they swing through that. You sit down with your position coach and kind of go over things and get to know them better. You get to have some time with Brian Kelly. They'll probably eat up, bowl crawfish or something and have a big lunch for everybody. So it's a laid back event and not one where, you're putting on pads or your cleats and going out and running 40s or anything like that. It's just, you come up to campus with your family or your coaches or whomever it might be, and you hang out for the day. And hopefully for LSU, you put a good foot forward and really start to kind of make some headway with some of these guys.
So I know with the previous staffs, and I think this is probably the case for most places, if not all, but just to confirm, you had position coaches who had an area that they were responsible for more often than not, and then certainly you're going to help recruit some of the guys at your position. Has that kind of been established for Brian Kelly's staff?
I haven't heard anything concrete there, and we'll see how to handle it. Obviously, I do expect at some point they'll settle everybody into a specific region or whatever it might be, and we'll find that out when they go out for the evaluation period, in April, I guess, and into May after the spring game. But I will say that it seems so far like they were able to go out and do some recruiting, obviously in January, and a lot of it was focused on finishing out that 2022 class, but also checking in on guys who were in this 2023 class. And I noticed that whether, let's just say Jamar King, a defensive line coach, well, he's got offers out to guys all over the country, and he was the one going out there to the high school to check in on them. Joe Sloan has got a big quarterback coming in this weekend, Dante Moore, who is from Michigan. He's a top 10 player in the country. I think he's like they've got 4 quarterbacks, including Arch, obviously, ranked inside the top 10 nationally right now, and he went up there and saw him. So, and obviously Joe Sloan doesn't have any. That wouldn't be an area he's recruiting. So it seems to me that right now it's like, hey, look, you focus on your guys, and then we'll figure out kind of what everyone's area is moving forward. And then in Louisiana, I think is self-explanatory. You'll have guys like Hankton and Wilson in New Orleans and South Louisiana, and Sloan North Louisiana, and Davis is a Baton Rouge native, so he could certainly recruit the city. So Louisiana might be a little bit easier kind of just to predict there, but we'll see what happens with the rest of the staff when they get to kind of give it another month or so and they get on the road.
Been hearing some rumors that Jaden Daniels actually will be visiting LSU. How likely do you think it is that they actually add a fourth quarterback for the 2022 season?
I've still been, and I saw those reports coming out of Arizona that he at least potentially had some interest. And I would think for LSU, if you're coming in with a new regime, that everything's on the table, right? That and quarterback being the most important position on your team, you're not ever going to just completely say, okay, we're not interested in anybody, type of thing. And 3 quarterbacks is enough to get through a season with, no doubt, much better than 2, which they've done before. So that's some depth there. But I think the question you balance is, what does that do for your life? Is he your starter? Is he a guy like that? And let's just say Jaden Daniels or anyone. I think what you're evaluating is, okay, how many years does he have left? Is he our starter this year? If we bring him in, what does that mean for Garrett Nussmeier or Walker Howard or Miles Brennan? Did these quarterback is a position where only one of them is going to play. So you see guys transfer out more quickly than really any other spot. So I think just because of the sensitivity and kind of the nature of recruiting quarterbacks, let alone out of the transfer portal in the spring when you've already got 3 guys established, is tricky. And I probably would bet that they're probably moving a little bit more diligently and slowly with things than they would at other spots. But we'll see. It's something to monitor, right? And I'm kind of in the camp of wondering, why wouldn't you just wait until March 28th, get out in spring ball, see what you got in Brennan, for this staff for the first time, and then evaluate it from there? Because more often than not, there'll be quarterbacks in the portal after spring or throughout the spring, that Joe Burrow was at. However, the quarterback battle at their school is working out, or they might think it's working out. Then you see more guys enter the portal. So I don't know if I'd be in a rush to just go out there and grab a guy just because he's the top name that's still out there and available. And I'm not surprised that we haven't heard any breaking news about, hey, look, they've got another commitment 3 weeks before spring ball even begins, and then they'd be able to see what Brennan and these guys can do.
Shay Dixon is our guest, go247.com. All right, big picture here. The rising junior class here that will be seniors and will be in the next signing class, the group that is largely going to be represented on campus this weekend. What is it thought of in state? What kind of a year are we looking at here?
So there was an article, I guess 347 put up an article the other day because they did an update to the rankings for that class, this 2023 class. And I think LSU has 11 guys, or I know they have 11 guys in the top 247, and I believe that ranks 5 or 6 nationally in terms of state. So you can guess the others: Texas, Georgia, Florida, California, and then, as always, almost there, Louisiana's coming in as that number 5 or 6 spot, which when you're the only team in the state, you've got a big benefit, and it drives home just how important it is for LSU to be the, put up the fence and keep all these guys at home. And I think it starts obviously at the top with a guy like Arch Manning, and I'm not going to speak on LSU's chances there. He says, he's going to make a visit this spring. We'll see. But when you move beyond him, Derek Williams is a really elite safety out of Westgate. You got a couple of elite linebackers, and Jaden Osbury here at U-High, and then Tackett Curtis up at Maney. One of the best receivers in the country, certainly. And Omarion Miller is a good one, but Shelton Sampson over at Catholic High, and all those guys are top 100 guys right now. So you certainly got some big names at the top, and it's Louisiana. So as time goes on, we'll find more and more guys who are certainly, college caliber, SEC caliber guys that will start picking up offers. So I would say, where we're at right now, the state looks pretty solid, at least where you can at least build a foundation here. But I'll also say that it's clear that, look, they've put together a staff where a number of guys, certainly on defense, aren't from here. So I would think that they're going to try to use those ties that they've got elsewhere, and we could see maybe a pretty healthy blend of Louisiana guys and out-of-state guys in this class.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it just kind of feels this way. I think Les really obviously drove home trying to lock up Louisiana. They were big in Houston and East Texas, and they went into Florida and had some success there. But that was the majority of it. I feel like Ogeron got a little bit more national than Ed had been. Obviously, Brian Kelly, out of necessity, was very much a national recruiter in Notre Dame. Any indication as to what that looks like kind of as in terms of the way it trends? Is he going to go as national because he's got a name that and some experience doing that, or is it going to look more like what we've seen with Houston and Florida and Louisiana?
I think it obviously probably will settle out in the end that most of your class are guys that are from around here, whether that is Louisiana or, into Houston or like you said, Mississippi, Alabama guys, Georgia, that you can recruit these guys in the Southeast and they're still not that far from home. And I think it's something important to remember. It was a major talking point for us at the back end of the Orgeron era was the roster is getting depleted by the transfer portal. And quite often it was guys who, out-of-state guys would leave and say, look, I'm just going to go somewhere else. And a Louisiana guy, if you're here, you're a bit more, a lot of Louisiana players have talked about that. I thought about transferring, but I'm home. My parents come to every game. This is, I've always wanted to go to LSU, so I'll wait it out. And if you're trying to build a roster and keep a roster at 85 and develop guys and all of this, in the age of the transfer portal, I almost think it makes more sense to be as heavy on Louisiana and the border states as you can be. And understand you got to go address needs and you want to recruit the best players, but I think there's a lot of good news, obviously, and if you can win those battles here and in those border states, you're always going to have a pretty good class. So we'll see how it goes. And again, they're going to recruit national. If they've got guys at quarterback, D linemen, linebackers, whatever it is that are interested and they can get them, they're not going to shy away just because he's from, the Midwest or wherever it might be. But I would think that they've got an eye, and I've heard, that's kind of an approach, or at least always on their mind of, hey, is this guy going to be a program guy for us, or is he going to see, look, I'm not starting right now, and I want to go back home, or I want to go just somewhere else, and we'll see how that ultimately plays out.
All right, last one here, Shay. We appreciate some time. We know that Alabama's got a foot in the door in Louisiana for sure, and they come in and get a couple every single year. We saw Texas A&M dip into the state this year and grab a couple. And then the concern would be that Billy Napier and Corey Raymond and Jabbar Jalouk over in Gainesville would put some energy and some focus into this state with the relationships that they have. Your sense as to, I don't even care about Alabama, we know what they are, A&M's foothold here and what Florida may potentially try to do?
I don't know if I'd call A&M a foothold yet, or, NIL came into play on the back end and it seemed to make a sway or at least some sort of heavy factor in Jacoby Matthews' decision. I think that beyond that, they've not ever been close to the consistency that a team like Alabama can do. TCU, for instance, is probably has recruited the state better than A&M. They've gotten a lot of good players out of the state, maybe guys that LSU didn't offer, but ones that A&M were in on too. So I would say Bama just remains the one you worry about. I was a bit surprised that they went through December and February signing day and Trevor Etienne went to Florida, and running back out of Jennings, but everyone always thought he wasn't going to stay in state, and he always had his eye on Florida, and it's near Jacksonville where Travis is. So that one kind of always made sense, whether it was Napier or somebody else. I was a bit surprised they didn't, pop a couple of guys with the number of guys they have on that staff. But we'll see going forward. But again, I'm skeptical. I just haven't seen Florida come into the state, no matter which staff they had. I understand this one's very Louisiana heavy, but and really recruit guys at a high level. So maybe if they're winning at a high clip and, they're a sexy name out there in the SEC and they're getting back to Florida Gator football, then yeah, you can come in here and really catch the attention of some guys. But for me, beyond Alabama, nobody is coming in here and is flashy enough at the moment, even A&M. And I think A&M's obviously throwing around some NIL deals that have guys' attentions, but I don't think what they've done on the field is warranted enough for any of these Louisiana guys to say, hey, look, I'm jumping off the LSU bandwagon or whatever it is and going to A&M. So for me, it's just still Bama, and I'm going to wait and see with those two other schools you mentioned.
Shay, we appreciate some time. Have a good weekend.
Yes, enjoy all your baseball, Hunt. Hope you guys have a good weekend. See you, Jeremy.
We'll do it. Shay Dixon, go 247. He's the best, and it's a never-stopping world of recruiting. And now, just like I was talking, we're trying to figure out how Jay Johnson's going to handle things on the field. How does Brian Kelly handle things in the recruiting world? He's assembled a staff of guys with a really good track record, some national guys, some guys with in-state ties, and we'll see how things go. They're going to crank it up this weekend with a junior day, see if they can't get a commitment or two, and have those guys kind of lead the charge in the state moving forward for this coming up 2023 class. And Shay will have all of it over there at Go 247. Come back, talk a little more hoops. It's Hunt and Hill.
Serving up the latest from the sports world. It's Hunt and Hill.
Always happy to tell you about Bayou Ford. You can find them at BayouFord.com. They are the only dealer in 180 miles that consistently has these Black Widow models of Ford. They've got the F-150, F-250, F-350, the F-150 SCA Premium Raptor, and they are fine vehicles. You can check them out at BayouFord.com, or you can drive down to LaPlace and check them out. They generally have one on the lot. Customized vehicles, that's the new rage. That's the new era of car buying, and that's what Bayou Ford does as good as anybody. 75% of the people who walk in there customize their vehicle. 50% never set foot on the lot. If you want a Bronco, you want an Explorer, Expedition, F-150, F-250, any Ford make and model, Bayou Ford can turn that around for you in 60 to 90 days.
If you don't want to be that 50% that doesn't go down to the lot, Bayou Ford has 6 full-time drivers. Their only job is to deliver your custom vehicle right to you. All you got to do is go to BayouFord.com. They're going to do right by you.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthy. My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed.
Time for myself.
We found our why.
Have you found yours?
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. The Right Radio Hours return, talking Tiger baseball in Houston, LSU hoops against Bama, and the latest from the Combine. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We'll go to Houston in 10 minutes and check in with Leah Van, who's at the Juice Box, little scene setter. I believe game number 1 may be over. Let's check Kendall's Twitter and see if that's the case. It was a pitcher's duel in game 1. That was between Baylor and UCLA. That is a final. Baylor wins 2-1 over UCLA. Makes the play to preserve a 2-1 Baylor victory. Yeah, 2-1. So Baylor beats UCLA. That's a Baylor team LSU will see on Sunday. My alarm's going off. I gotta turn the alarm off. Hold on. This is not good radio, but we We got to make that happen, or we're going to have the police coming to my house, and we don't need them there because I know that person, and they can come in, but they set the alarm off on my house. I'm really probably going to have to answer the phone in a second and turn that off. That was not ideal. So you'll have to run the show for a second while I answer that phone call when it comes. But I want to talk about the SEC basketball slate that's coming up. Auburn has a 1-game lead in the conference. There is the phone call. I'm going to have to take it and tell them it's fine. I need 30 seconds. You got it.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we'll just talk a little LSU Alabama here. Huge matchup between the Tigers and the Tide. Senior night, of course. My boy Hunt Palmer just handling some affairs at the house. But, yeah, I'm excited about this matchup. I really can't wait to watch Darius Days on senior night. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for him to really get back on the shooting side. The three-point shots have not been falling to the level of consistency that we would love to see. But I think tonight or tomorrow night, I think it's gonna change for him. I think tomorrow morning they play at 11 a.m. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I think tomorrow afternoon, Days knocks down those 3-point shots. I want to see this team really stop with the fouls. I think for once we need to start getting to the basket more consistently, and finishing a little better around the rim and force these other teams to be on the other side of that. Yeah, just talking about LSU Bama tomorrow.
You know what? Sometimes the alarm goes off, and that's good. We want the alarm. You got an 8-week-old in the house, but it can creates a little bit of inconvenience when we forget to turn it off. So we're all good now. I do want to talk about the SEC basketball tomorrow. Auburn's got a 1-game lead in the conference race, and you would think that they would be able to hold on to that. All they have to do to win the Southeastern Conference outright is win their game tomorrow, which they should, hosting South Carolina. Now, the rest of the league behind them, should they falter, is kind of standing there jockeying for position. I think a really interesting game is Florida and Kentucky. That game is in Gainesville, and Florida really needs to win that game to feel decent about making the NCAA tournament. Kentucky is trying to get to the 1 line if they possibly can. They need to win that game on the road and then make a little run over in Tampa. Florida's desperate. Kentucky's not desperate. What do you think happens in the O-Dome tomorrow?
I like Kentucky in that one. I like Casey's own Kentucky Wildcats in that game. I think the Wildcats are going to win that one. What we've seen from Florida all year is just a good play, bad play, good play, bad play, inconsistency. I think Kentucky goes into the SEC tournament with some steam, and they beat Florida.
I really like this Kentucky team. Now they're healthy. I realize they went to Arkansas and lost, but I like that team a lot. The other game of interest is Tennessee and Arkansas. Those two teams are tied at 13-4. Winner of this ball game will get a better seed in the NCAA tournament, in the SEC tournament, and Tennessee's probably in a little bit better shape in terms of the tournament as a whole because they've got that huge win over Arizona, who looks like a 1 seed right now. But Arkansas headed to the Tommy Bowl, where Tennessee has not lost. What gives there?
I like Tennessee at home. It's tough. They play tough at that building. Their defense, I think, plays at a lot higher level in that building. And they turn the ball over a lot less. And Vescovi really gets it going on from the outside at home. So I like them in that one, especially after watching Arkansas against the LSU team that's been up and down. I think Tennessee gets it off at home.
The rest of the slate is pretty mediocre, which is fine. I'd rather the best teams play. Alabama, LSU is interesting for a lot of reasons. Arkansas and Tennessee, certainly two teams that could tie for the conference championship should Auburn lose. And then Florida and Kentucky for sure. Those are all really good matchups. The rest of the slate, which is the evening slate, stinks. So stick to LSU, Texas baseball at that point in your day. You don't need to flip over to the SEC. But the last game in the Tom Crean area for the regular season will be Georgia and Missouri. Those two coaches are both going to get fired, so that'll be a game to watch for no reason at all. Vanderbilt is headed to Ole Miss. Kermit's team is 4-13 right now. I still think he's okay because of the injuries, but we'll see. Vanderbilt has played a lot better. I think Scottie Pippen may have played himself into a lottery pick. They go on the road, and we'll see if Vanderbilt can finish this thing out strong. They're going to have to play on day one of the SEC tournament, but they could be a team that wins another game in the SEC tournament for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can see them getting maybe 2 wins at the max, but they can definitely win one. This is a team that, on any given night, Scottie Pippen Jr. gets it going. He can fill that stat sheet up and really put you at odds to really try to win the basketball game. And they're playing Ole Miss. It's not going to move the needle that much. And I think, I agree. Vanderbilt's probably going to win that basketball game.
And then decision time in Starkville, Mississippi. Mississippi State is headed to Texas A&M. Mississippi State with a loss would be 8-10. That's actually the same record as LSU. LSU may be a 7 seed, and Mississippi State may be firing their coach. We'll see how that goes. But A&M right now would get to 500 in the league in Buzz's third year if they could find a way to win this game at home against Mississippi State. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, A&M, man, they got that huge win over Alabama. I don't think anyone was expecting that at all. That was huge for them. And Mississippi State, they've been so Iverson Molinar heavy. It's a tough one. I think either one of these teams, I could see a scenario where either one of these teams win this game. But I'm gonna take A&M. I'm gonna take A&M.
I'll take Mississippi State in that one. I think they're gonna play with a little more sense of urgency. And I don't believe in A&M's offense, and the fact that they went to Tuscaloosa and scored 1 million means I think they're coming home and laying an egg. I can't trust that they're going to put two games together back to back and play well. So give me Mississippi State in that one. That's a quick look at the Southeastern Conference. Of course, the big story of the weekend in college basketball, Mike Krzyzewski's final game at Cameron as the Tar Heels invade. Duke absolutely torched Carolina in the Dean Dome a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if they can finish out Coach K's legacy in Cameron with a win over a pretty mediocre North Carolina team that is probably not going to make the NCAA tournament. So that's a look at college basketball on Saturday. We'll now shift gears. We will head to Houston, Texas. Leah Vann is there. She's covering the Tigers. She's in the juice box. We will speak with her next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
Jimmy Ott, Roscoe and Hannah Griff, Monday for Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers. We're at the all-new Spoken Hub restaurant on Government Street in Mid-City. Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
About 90 minutes until first pitch, LSU and Oklahoma. Jake Bennett and Blake Money. The pitching matchup should be a dandy. Leah Vann is there to cover it for the Advocate. A bit of a homecoming for Leah. She joins us now on the phone line from Minute Maid. Leah, how are you?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Doing very, very well. Set the scene for us a little bit. It looks like the roof was open for that first game. Is that the plan for the rest of the day? And what kind of crowd looks to be filing in?
Yeah, I mean, I assume if the weather stays consistent, it'll be open roof for the rest of the day. It's kind of humid out, nice and warm, a lot warmer than all of the other games that we've covered.
Yep.
The crowd is trickling in. There was some purple that was already here for the first game. And I got to say, they probably outnumbered the UCLA fans and the Baylor fans already, which was the game before that. But, yeah, they're all kind of trickling in right now. And you've got some Oklahoma fans. But, yeah, it's a pretty – I think it's going to fill up quite a bit once by the time the game starts.
Yeah, get used to seeing that purple. There's going to be a lot of it this weekend. Tomorrow ought to be a dandy. I think 30,000 plus between Texas and LSU. You spoke to the guys after the game on Wednesday and then leading up to this one. For us, for fans, it's exciting because they are stepping up in competition level. Jay Johnson's going to dismiss that and say you just got to take care of yourself. But did the players give any indication of their excitement level to play in an MLB ballpark against Big 12 teams?
Yeah, I think Jack Marisol was super excited. He was like, it's kind of one of those things where you see it on the schedule and you're like, oh my God, I get to play at Minute Maid, So I think they're excited. I think certainly it brings a lot more energy when you're playing, another conference that is known for baseball and stuff like that. I think Alex Milazzo was pretty excited, but he said he wasn't that much of a MLB fan. Whereas Jack was a big fan of the Astros and the Rays growing up. So this is kind of a big deal for him.
Well, what do you think is the most? Who's got to feed the most off of the energy here? The batting lineup, or some of these pitchers who's got to be on the national stage for the first time this season?
I think it's got to be a little bit of both, but I think the pitching is going to be the most intriguing. And I think Blake Money is the kind of guy who loves and feeds off of energy. So I certainly expect him to get the crowd kind of involved, and I think he'll feed off of it. I think we saw a lot of that on the season opener. Every strikeout, he was kind of getting excited, but not too excited, holding it in and closing that inning and walking off, all fist bumping and everything. So I feel like he's the perfect kind of pitcher for this kind of venue.
From afar, I've enjoyed kind of Blake Money's rise here over the last 2 weeks with the cowboy hat and the Friday night deal and the way that he's thrown the ball. When you speak with him, what's his demeanor like before a start, and then what has his reaction been after these two outings?
He's a funny dude, and he loves to talk. And yeah, he's a big personality, but kind of softer voice. But yeah, I think he's very confident. I think that's the big thing about him is he's confident in his abilities, but he's not cocky about it. Yesterday he was signing, or Wednesday, I don't know what day it is. Wednesday he was signing autographs for little kids. He walked by me and he was like, man, I love kids. They're so cute. And so he just walked off. And he's the kind of guy who can talk to anybody. He'll talk to you about country music. He'll talk to you about baseball. And he loves baseball, and I think the MLB lockout's breaking his heart a little bit right now.
Breaking my heart as well. Leah Vann over in Houston. She's covering the LSU baseball squad for The Advocate, our guest here. Mikael Hilliard, kind of okay his first 2 times out. Your reaction to what you've seen from him, and maybe in speaking with him, what he thinks of his early season performances.
Yeah, so we've only gotten to talk to him once, and it wasn't after he performed, so I can't speak on that. But he, I think a little bit of a slower start, but I think he'll probably get it back together. I think the weather might be something that is affecting him a little bit. I mean, he's a Louisiana guy, and I don't know. Some people have told me that he does a lot better when weather's warmer, and maybe that impacts his pitching. I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah, I mean, I think that with everybody, you got to take everything with a grain of salt this early in the season. And, like, kind of as me as a new beat writer, I'm still trying to feel out this team and get an idea of who's doing well and who's not. And you really can't conclude anything from the first 2 games. I mean, look at Riley Cooper. He had a much better outing the other day than he did against Louisiana Tech. So I think that you could see some better games ahead for him for sure.
When you're around this team, who do you get a sense that's really taking on that leadership role of how things are done every day, and just the attitude that, the team's got to follow me and kind of, go in my direction?
Who?
I was asking, do you have a sense of who that is on the team right now, just being around the team and talking to the players?
I think that's a good question. I think definitely the top of the batting line. I think Trey Morgan's a big leader on this team, and I think even Cade Beloso's not playing right now, but he seems to be kind of that guy that's like everybody goes to or talks to in the dugout, and he's always cheering everyone on, and he's kind of like that player, and he's in that like coaching kind of role right now just because he is sidelined. So I feel like I've seen him take on a little bit of a leadership role here, and certainly Dylan Cruz, Cade Doty, all the guys that you would typically think of as leaders. I think Milazzo has the characteristics of a leader too. I mean, we spoke to him, and he's very poised, and obviously as the catcher, like he's the go-to guy to really tell you what's going on with the defense. So I think you got a lot of leaders on this team.
Is there concern with Jordan Thompson's errors early in the season?
Yeah, so Jay hasn't voiced any concern about it, but I mean, we've seen a lot of them, and they say they're working on it. They say it's an easy fix. So I think that's something that I think I'll be paying attention to in these more competitive games. Like, is this going to be something that's consistently wrong, or is it going to be something that is an easy, just kind of mindless fix? Because I feel like that Louisiana Tech game, you even saw like Trey Morgan was struggling defensively too, and I think it's some of those things where it's like jitters of like getting back in the swing of things. You know what I mean? And so I think that's something that's a developing story. That's something that we need to kind of keep an eye on. But yeah, he certainly has struggled a little bit defensively, and I think that Jay has acknowledged it, and he said, Jordan Thompson needs to play up to his potential.
It's tough for me to relate to Dylan Cruz or Jacob Berry, who've just been superstars their entire life and have just been and are from out of state. But maybe somebody like Braden Jobert is a little bit easier. Just a Louisiana high school baseball player who grew up, kind of paying attention to LSU, and now, due to some unfortunate circumstances with Beloso on opening night, has gotten an opportunity and has been so great for 2 weeks. I got to imagine he's having a blast.
Yeah, I think he is too, and I think he's soaking it up, but he's also like trying to stay grounded and keep doing what he's doing and stick to the game plan. But I think he's certainly like riding the momentum that he's got and things that he's taken the chances. Like after I talked to him when after that first opening start, and he was saying it's the next man up kind of mentality. If I get that opportunity, I've got to take full advantage of it. And it's like he's also kind of the guy that's like happy to be here even if he's not in the lineup. And I think when you go into it, not putting that kind of pressure on yourself, then you're able to kind of play a little loose. And I think that's what he's been doing. He's like, okay, things are working, no big deal. And now I'm in the starting lineup. So I feel like when you don't have really heavy expectations, I think you're able to play up to your potential almost because you're not stressed about it.
All right, I got LT Impo reservations tomorrow pregame. I saw on the Twitter feed you were there last night. Give me your review of LT.
You know what's like the best Mexican food in Houston, right?
I know. I've been a couple of times. I love it. I always go when I go. My buddy that lives over there, he doesn't go a ton because obviously living there. He's like, yeah, I think it's time to get some El Tiempo. So we're headed there before the game tomorrow.
Well, it's the only place that I know of where you can get filet fajitas. I mean, that's a nice piece of steak. And I'm a Texas girl, so I love good steak. They cook it well. It's nice and it's a little bit pink, so it's nice and chewy. And the spicy margaritas are great. They said, do you want the chili, spice around the rim? I was like, what is a spicy margarita without the chili spice around the rim? Come on, y'all. Like, it's a great place. So highly recommend for anybody visiting Houston.
I'm locked and loaded, ready to roll. Enjoy the baseball this weekend, Leah. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Leah Van from The Advocate over there in Houston. You a fajitas guy?
Oh, yeah. I like some fajitas. I'm more of a shrimp fajita type of guy, but hey, I'll take the filet here and there too.
But look, if you're here, like with Tex-Mex, you go with the shrimp. You're in Texas, that's the beef, the steer. You gotta go with the filet. Although I think you can do both. Like the Supreme fajitas over there at El Tiempo. Their tortillas are homemade. They're so good. Hey, all you people that are listening and are going, stay at El Tiempo right before the game. I'm trying to go there. I don't need to be sitting around waiting a bunch because you heard about it on the show and you're taking my table. Chill out with that. I'm going to El Tiempo. You go next time. All right. Very excited to get over there tomorrow after my round of golf. Going to be a fun Saturday in Houston. About to head that way here in 19 minutes. I'll be on the road to Houston, Texas. Very much looking forward. Very much looking forward to that. We will come back and wrap up this Friday edition of Hunt and Hill next on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Always telling you about Sync Wellness every single day and really happy to be doing so. SYNC, Sync Wellness, such a great resource here in Baton Rouge. They've got a couple of things that they specialize in. One is those vitamin supplement packs that are customized exactly to you. The other is their IV hydrations, and they're not just for the hospital anymore. Health-conscious people know that the IV nutrient hydrations increase your energy, optimize your mental clarity, improve your skin appearance, maximize athletic performance, detox, immunity, even relieve hangovers if that's an issue that you've got this weekend. And Sync Wellness offers the most comprehensive and high-quality IV nutrient hydrations in the city. They're packed with vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and more. Download the Sync app to see a complete list of their hydration formulas and schedule your hydration today.
Yeah, Sync has all the professional products to help you stay well and keep your immune system strong. One of their most popular items is their pharmacist-created Immune Pack, conveniently packaged with vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc in the doses you need to stay well. They also have their Immune Support IV hydration, packed with vitamin C, vitamin B, and zinc. And if you're feeling too ill to walk into their suite, their registered nurses will administer your IV curbside.
Don't just go into the health store, the drugstore, and just grab something off the shelf that you looked up. Let Sync Wellness help you to customize something to your specific needs. They do that every single day, and they can do it for you coming up this weekend, next week. Sync Wellness, SYNC, synkwellness.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with $2,750 off MSRP. Shop our inventory or let us custom order your next vehicle with up to $2,000 bonus cash, our 1,000,000-mile warranty, and more. Shop BayouCDJR.com or visit us off I-10 in La Plaza. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthier. My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why.
Have you found yours?
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Mondays off the bench, we recap a huge weekend of sports. Did the LSU basketball team manage to beat Bama? How did baseball fare at the Shriners Classic? Softball played 5 games. Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right. I've tried to look into this, and this is the best I can do here for you. Yesterday we were told MLB Network was going to carry the baseball tournament this weekend. That is no longer the case in Louisiana. It's going to be blacked out. Here's how you can watch, to the best of my knowledge. I can't swear this is exactly right. This is the best I've been able to come up with. You have AT&T Uverse, AT&T Sportsnet will have it. I don't even know what that is, but if that sounds familiar to you, it works. Then the Astros are pumping all this stuff out. So on Astros.com, Astros Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I'm sure if you have a Twitter, somebody will tweet out the link that you can find it. I don't know if there's a payment issue to it, but the best I can do right this second is tell you that running through the Astros is the best way to do it. I would look into it right now, see what you can find. 3 o'clock first pitch today against Oklahoma, 7 o'clock first pitch tomorrow against Texas, 7 o'clock Sunday first pitch against Baylor. Not ideal, but that's the way it is. Blackout rules are absolutely ridiculous, and that's the way of the world these days. Let's go to our Citizens Bank poll question of the day. You can always find that at 1045 ESPN on Twitter. Today's was pretty easy. How many games does LSU's baseball team win this weekend? 0, 1, 2, or 3. Coming in fourth place is 0. Nobody thinks the Tigers are going over there and get swept. Coming in second place with 10%, 1. Then with 20% in third place is a clean sweep. 3. The majority of you, 66%, say LSU's going to win a pair this weekend. That's where Jeremy and I both fall. I think Jeremy's got us winning today and Sunday, losing to Texas. I've got us winning the first 2 and Baylor nipping us on Sunday. I need Ty Floyd to throw some breaking balls. Haven't seen that. And it's going to be low energy, I think, in there with a pretty mediocre crowd. I like LSU tomorrow. I like LSU's bats more than Texas's. And I'm not impressed overly with Texas's pitcher, even though his numbers have been pretty good over the last couple of years. I just think a lineup as good as LSU's is going to get to him eventually, but I'm excited to get in there and watch it. We shall see. So appreciate Citizens Bank for giving us that poll every single day, and that will continue with Early Line and AFR later today. All right, Jeremy, let's do some Take It or Leave It. I will crank things up with one that I saw and was just kind of shocked by. Lions head coach Dan Campbell, keep in mind this is the same guy who said that in his introductory press conference his team was going to eat people's kneecaps and keep fighting and scrapping and clawing. At the Combine this week, he made former Cincinnati quarterback Desmond Ridder drink a glass of milk before their interview. Now you would think that's not that big a deal, just drink a glass of milk. Well, Desmond Ridder is lactose intolerant. Think, oh, maybe Coach Campbell didn't know. Well, he did know. He wanted to see Desmond Ridder recall plays and work up the whiteboard and answer questions while in pain from the milk that he forced him to drink. Forcing allergic reactions to evaluate quarterbacks in the combine. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that. Unfortunately, Mr. Campbell, I get the passion. I get the old school mentality, but we're in 2022. What are we doing?
I have never in my life been more convinced that a coach was going to fail at his job than Dan Campbell with the Lions. This guy is such a meathead caveman. I cannot deal with it. It's unbelievable. They are going to – he's got no chance to succeed with this kind of ridiculousness.
My man's giving me straight Thad Castle vibes, man. He's a different type of cat coach in the scene. It's the Lions, man. What are we going to do? It's the Lions.
He's going to look up everybody's allergy. Well, yeah, I'm allergic to penicillin and slam it down their throat. Oh, man, I can't do poison. And if you're not allergic to anything, I'll just bring some poison ivy in, rub it on your face, and see if you can draw up a post route on the board. Unbelievable, this tactic.
All right, let's go on a lighter note with the NFL draft interviews. Former North Carolina quarterback Sam Howell said he was asked to shoot on a mini hoop during his draft interview with the Eagles. He said he made 2 out of 5 of the shots. Mini hoops during draft interviews. Take it or leave it.
We'll take it. I like to see if a guy can hit the mini hoop jumper off the door. That's a tough shot. Hand size is tough. It's like Shaq shooting a free throw. Very difficult at times, but I like easing the mood a little bit. That's better than forcing people to throw up and have reactions because they're lactose intolerant. That is still one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. Adam Schefter reports the Cowboys are likely to release Amari Cooper, who would be due $22 million fully guaranteed as of March 20th. Amari Cooper in the black and gold, take it or leave it.
I mean, I'll take that. I think that'd be great. I don't know how they're going to fix it with the cap. I'm sure if Amari Cooper became a free agent, there'd be some teams out there willing to spend a little chunk of change to get him to their organization. But if you can put him next to Michael Thomas, you won't need a hero effort from the quarterback position. You got plenty on the outside. Plus Alvin Kamara, the Saints could be cooking with a little something there. But we'll
Taylor,
see.
Does Amari Cooper still have gas in the tank?
I think that tank's pretty close to full.
Okay.
Look, CD's explosive, but I think Cooper's the most consistent. I think this is a mistake.
20 million chucks. See you down the road, Mr. Cooper.
Yes,
Our
sir.
way.
All right. Bingo special teams coordinator Darren Simmons. He didn't like their rookie kicker, Evan McPherson, hanging back on the field to enjoy the Super Bowl halftime show. Said it was a real sore subject to talk about. Evan did anything wrong enjoying the halftime show. Take it or leave it.
He's a kicker. What adjustments are we making? We got to draw something up on the whiteboard? Let the guy watch some hip-hop. They got some 90s classics playing in there. McPherson wanted to be a part of it. Look, the guy's money all postseason. He didn't have to get in. He went on the now, if the offensive line stayed back and was watching the halftime show, we might have an issue because they can't block anybody. But the kicker's making everything. He's staying loose. He's getting the vibes. He's enjoying the time. Taking it all in. I'm all for Evan McPherson.
Look, I know Darren. I was around him for 4 years. He's not enjoying anybody missing any type of meetings. That's the type of guy he is. He wants Evan in there. I didn't care if they're talking about the O-line blocking. We may need you on the O-line. Who knows? Darren's that type of worse. Yeah, Darren. That's the type of guy my boy Darren is. But hey, man, you gotta let. I don't know if anyone's seen the meme. It's a meme of Evan just getting down in the halftime show. It's pretty funny if you haven't seen it. But yeah, let the kicker enjoy the halftime show. What are we doing, Darren? All right, last one here. Evan Neal said he would love to end Alabama's 74-year drought of not having a number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft, saying it would mean everything to him if he got that done. Evan Neal, number 1 pick in the draft. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. I think he's a right tackle, and I don't think they're going to take a right tackle first overall. I could be wrong. It's Jacksonville. They can do anything, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's a little bit shocking when you think about the fact that Mark Ingram was their first Heisman winner. They've never had a number 1 pick. All the winning they've done over the years, and to not have those two things have happened before Nick Saban got there is a little bit shocking. Now, Evan Neal's a freak. Some of the stuff I've seen, there's that video of him. There's, you jump through the box jumps, but there's some pads. There's a video of him, and there's 2 boxes. And he's standing between them in their pads, and he jumps up and does a split and catches one leg on both boxes. And that was, and they measured him in. He's like 6'7", 355, and he doesn't have a stomach. It's the first lineman I saw that looked like this was Tyron Smith, and I was like, he's not fat.
Yeah.
And now that's commonplace. The guys that are just chiseled out of stone. There was a time, and he could still play probably today. Larry Allen was a fat guy.
Oh yeah.
He could whoop your tail at the line of scrimmage and run like a deer, but he was fat. They're not fat anymore. They are freaks.
Yeah. Evan's a freak, man. You look at that dude. He's like a mixture of Tyron Smith and Andrew Whitworth put together. Just freaking nature. It could happen. It's Jacksonville. We've seen wacky things happen. They trade away their best players, and they don't spend their money in free agent wisely. Who knows? I mean, they might want to convince themselves we need protection for Trevor Lawrence. Who knows? But I think it's definitely possible, especially if you're a freak like that. You can't run out of having offensive linemen.
Big weekend for you coming up?
I wouldn't say big. I'm going to be tuning into the Tigers and be watching basketball team early in the morning and checking out the Tigers baseball, man. We got to get this thing going. A lot of people not happy with the schedule. Let's answer those calls, and I think the Tigers will answer the bell.
I hope so. Fun weekend on tap in Houston. We are an hour and 5 minutes away from first pitch from the Juice Box. You can catch that on Eagle 98.1. Doug Thompson and Bill Franquez will be on the call all weekend long. I'm hitting the road to Houston. You miss anything on our show, it has been a really, really fun one. We previewed LSU baseball and basketball in the first hour. Tony Tsoukalas joined us from Bama Central at 12:30. Shay Dixon at 1 o'clock, getting you ready for Junior Day for the LSU football program. Leah Van, site setter from Houston at 1:30. Missed any of it? Online, 1045ESPN.com. or on YouTube on the Hunt and Hill channel. Matt Moscona is going to drive you home from 3 to 6 on AFR. Coming up next, Taylor Sharp and Mario Jerez with Early Line.